Educate account. In the AWS Educate console, click on AWS account. In the AWS account, click on Starter account. In the starter account, from this particular starter account, okay, if you want to proceed, it is fine, but for the class, okay, for our IoT, for our cloud computing class, we have created a separate login in AWS. So I request you to go to the class, okay, select the classroom and select the classroom cloud computing and services. So the cloud computing and services also, you will get a panel like this. From this particular panel, you go to the AWS console. So this is the AWS console. Okay, I want to create a service EC2. So you can type EC2 service here, search for a particular service, you will get a corresponding service here, select it, Elastic Compute Cloud. So this is a dashboard of EC2 panel. So currently I have no instances running, so it shows me 0 instances. If you create a new instance, of course this 0 will be updated into 1. Similarly, I don't have anything. Say for example, I don't have a dedicated host, I don't have a volumes, I don't have a key pair, and I don't have a placement group. Okay, so whenever you create a corresponding component, okay, the numbers will be displayed here. It is easy for you to manage. If you are not sure with how many key pairs you have, okay, if you look at this particular dashboard, you can clearly see you have 3 key pairs, you have 4 key pairs. Okay, fine. So first of all, I would like to create a instance, EC2 instance. So I'm going to click the launch instance. It's a drop down menu. From the drop down menu, select the launch instance option. Amazon EC2 provides you, okay, many different versions of the systems, pre-configured system. Depends upon your need, you can select any one of the system. Currently we are using a free tier, so there are some restrictions in the free tier. You cannot select all the instances. So with respect to free tier, consider I'm going to select Amazon Linux to AMI HVM model. So there are two different versions. Okay, Amazon Linux to AMI provides you, one is 64-bit x86 and 64-bit ARM. So I am going to select default one, 64-bit x86 version. So click on the select. So what type of instance you wanted to create? So number of CPUs and memory capacity, instance storage. So everything will be listed here. But as we are in the free tier, we are not allowed to select any of this option. We are allowed to select, okay, the free tier option, T2 micro. So if you select a T2 micro option, it's a general purpose machine. This machine is a general purpose machine. And the number of CPUs it comes along with this particular T2 micro is 1 virtual CPU. Okay, and this is the memory capacity. Okay, and this is the instance storage. Okay, so this is fine with us. Okay, so we are going to a next step. So the next step is next configure instance details. Okay, click on next, that is configure instance detail. So the number of instances we want to create in one step, okay, is only one. Consider you want to create a 2 different instances or 3 different instances, okay, then you can mention appropriate number here. So mainly, okay, whenever you go for an auto scaling option, okay, you can select the auto scaling group also. Say for example, if you say auto scaling group as 5, it will create a 5 instances. Based on the constraint, it will include, okay, additional VMs from the group. If you say 5 VMs, initially it may start with, based on the load, it may start with 1 VM, and when the load increases, automatically it will invoke the second and third and fourth VM. For that, it requires a scaling group. Right now, we are not going to explore anything about this scaling group, so we are fine with the number of instances as 1. Similarly, there are many options are there. These options we'll explore in the forthcoming session. Okay, so we are moving towards the next step, add storage. So the default storage which is given is 8 GB. Okay, so if you want to have an additional storage, you can mention it here. Of course, we are in the free tier, that you will have to keep in your mind. These storage are not encrypted. If you want to say encrypted, okay, whatever the content you record in the storage are encrypted. So right now we are not going to explore anything about this encryption process. So the volume type is a general purpose SSD. Okay, so we are going to a next option. Okay, click on the next. Okay, add tags. Currently we are not going to add anything in the tag group. Okay, so we are going to the next step. Okay, configure security group. This is very important step. Whatever the configurations you want to provide, that configurations can be provided by using this security group. By default, whenever you create a EC2 instance, there will be a default security group. Okay, if you select an existing security group, it will display a default. If you are not comfortable or if you are not clear with the default security group, you can create a new security group. That is the default option that come with the default settings. Consider what is this particular security group says. You can connect with this particular instance through SSH, which uses a TCP protocol, and using a port number 22 you can connect this particular instance. Okay, so only a specific computers you are allowing to connect it to this particular instance, or anyone can communicate with this particular instance, that you can select it here. If you say anywhere, it means that your your instances, VM instance, can be connected from anywhere in the world. But if you want to provide some restriction, you can go for an option called MyIP, where you can provide a particular IP. If you provide an IP, it means that only by using this particular IP you can connect it with this particular remote machine or virtual machine. Right now, as this is our first session, so I'm not imposing any restrictions here, so I'm going to select anywhere. So anywhere I can connect it with this virtual machine, but I can connect it only through SSH protocol. Consider if you want to change SSH protocol. Okay, so there are so many protocols are listed here. You can select, okay, any protocol here, and if you are not specific about a particular protocol, you can leave it 100% open, like all traffic. So I'm completely opening my virtual machine to the world, so any traffic can come in. Okay, anywhere it can come in. Actually this particular setting is okay, it's not an advisable setting, so that is why we are getting a warning here. So it is clearly mentioned that we recommend settings security group rules to allow access from known IP address only. Okay, this is just a recommendation from AWS. Since it is our first instance, we go with the default settings and click on review and launch. So whatever the options you have mentioned, everything will come into the dashboard. Okay, you can review the content, whatever the settings we have chosen as part of the wizard. Once all the content, okay, the settings are fine with you, okay, you can click on the launch to launch the instance. For launching the instance, it is asking you to create a key pair. There are three options are there. One, you can go with the existing key pair, or you can create a new key pair, or you can proceed without a key pair. If you specify with a new key pair, whatever the key we are generating as part of this particular step, that is needed when you connect it with the virtual machine. In the previous step, we have opened all our restrictions. Anywhere in the world can connect, okay, through any protocols they can communicate. At least this restriction we can have. So we can say create new pair. This particular step will create a new key pair. So it's a user defined name. I can give a user defined name. So I say my first key pair. Okay, it's a user defined name, my first key pair. Once you specify the name, it will enable the download key pair link. Okay, please click on this download key pair. So the corresponding PEM file, okay, the key file will be downloaded in your local system. This key file is required to connect it with a particular virtual machine. Okay, so I have created a key pair as well. Then I click on the launch instance to launch my virtual machine. So this will take several minutes to launch. And if you want to see the dashboard, what are all the instance, okay, already launched or status of the instance, you can click on the view instance. You can see this. So this particular dashboard shows three different instances. So the two instances which I have already terminated. So the one instance which I have created as part of this particular class, okay, the status is initializing. Okay, so once the status is running, your instance is ready to access it from anywhere in the world. Now see, now the status has changed to running. Now this particular virtual machine is ready to connect from the virtual machine or the remote machine. Okay, so how do I connect? Consider I have created some virtual machine. Now how do I connect? If you want to connect it to a particular virtual machine, select a particular virtual machine and click on connect. So before click on connect, if there are multiple virtual machines you have started, it is very difficult for you to exactly identify which virtual machine, okay, you have started and you supposed to work on with. So you can give some name for a virtual machine which you have created. Okay, so the virtual machine I have created this particular step is EC2. Okay, EC2 and Linux machine. Okay, it's a custom name. You can give any name to this particular instance. I have given a name to my instance. Now I want to connect it with this particular instance. So if you want to connect it to a particular instance, you can click on this connect. This will clearly tell you the procedure, okay, you're supposed to follow. So there are three different ways you can connect. You can use a standard or standalone SSH client, or by using a session manager you can connect, or you can also use EC2 instance connect, browser based SSH connection to connect it with the EC2 instance. So as part of this particular session, I'm going to use a standalone SSH client. Okay, so if it is a standalone SSH client, first of all, this is the key pair which you have downloaded, my first key pair. Okay, change the mode of this key pair. Okay, then use the following SSH command to connect it with the particular virtual machine. Okay, as a first step, I'm changing the mode of the.
Your voice is breaking, sir.
As a first step, we are going to change the mode of the key pair. Okay, by using chmod, we are going to do that. Okay, so go back to the local system where you have downloaded this particular key pair. So in my system, in the downloads sections, the key pair is there. Okay, my first key pair. So I'm going to copy this particular key file, okay, my first key pair.pem file to my desktop. Okay, so my instance is currently running. Now by using this particular PEM file, I'm going to connect it to my instance. For Mac users, you can use a terminal prompt. For Windows users, you can use git prompt. Okay, so in this particular case, okay, I'm going to use terminal to connect it with my remote instance. So go to the directory where you have the key file. Okay, and please check whether that particular file is there in the particular directory. My first key pair is there in the current directory, so I can proceed. Okay, the first command I supposed to give is chmod command. Chmod 400 my first key pair.pem. Change the mode. Then go back to the console page and copy the SSH command which is given as part of the connect option. Copy this particular command and go back to a terminal prompt and paste this particular command and hit enter. So it will ask you whether to proceed or not. Okay, you say yes. If you say yes, that's all. Now you look at this. We have created a Linux virtual machine by using Amazon EC2 console, and by using SSH command, we have connected with this particular EC2. Okay, now it becomes your local system. Consider I wanted to execute a Java program in this, the first Java program in this. How do I execute a Java program in this? It is a fresh mission. Okay, let me check whether Java is installed. No, Java is not installed. So what is that I supposed to do? First of all, let me install my Java JRE and I install Java JDK and I can execute my first Java program. The steps are listed here. The first command, what you're supposed to do, okay, give sudo yum update -y. Since the Linux virtual machine we have created is based on RHEL family, we are using yum packet manager. Instead, if you have created the Linux virtual machine or family, Debian family or Ubuntu family, you're supposed to use apt packet manager. So what is the first place I'm doing is sudo yum update y. I'm going to update my yum packet manager. Okay, so this particular step shows you, okay, the updating packet manager is completed. Next step, I'm going to install or I'm going to use Amazon Linux Extras. From Amazon Linux Extras, I'm going to install Java OpenJDK. So what is this Amazon Linux Extras? It provides you a set of updated RPMs, updated softwares. From this software list, you can select whatever the software you want. So from this particular command, I can install Java into my system, Java JVM in my system. Okay, before that, if you want to check what are all the different softwares this Amazon Linux Extras provides you. Copy only this Amazon Linux Extras, go back to the window and just type the command Amazon Linux Extras. This will give you what are all the possible updated packages or softwares you can install by using this Amazon's Linux Extras. Okay, so from this, what is that I am going to install? I'm going to install only the Java. Okay, so what is that I'm going to install? I'm going to install Java OpenJDK. Okay, so the command to install, okay, there's a command to install Java OpenJDK. So you can use this particular command sudo Amazon Linux Extras install Java OpenJDK 11. You can install multiple Java versions in the single machine. Okay, so it is asking to proceed. Yes, to proceed. So this particular step will install Java JVM in the Amazon EC2 instance. So look at this particular step. After that, you will get a message that this particular software is enabled in the system. Okay. Now, after installing JVM, install JDK development kit. There are other ways you can also install this JVM. Okay, you can directly install it like this in this using this command. Okay, so if you want to install JDK, this is the command sudo yum install java-devel development kit. Okay, so this step will complete installing Java development kit. So it's a two-step process. So whatever the operations we are doing it in the Linux EC2 instance. Okay, now my JR is installed and my JDK is also installed. Please check. Okay, if you simply specify Java, you should get some response. If you simply specify Java C, you should get some response. So if you get responses, it means that okay, Java and Java C are properly installed. Okay. Now on top of this, you can write your own simple Java program. Say for example, I say sample.java. In the sample.java, I'm writing first class sample, and inside this class sample, public static void main string arguments. Okay, so now inside this you can provide a simple output statement system.out.println hello. Okay, so this particular step, okay, we have written a simple Java program. Okay, now how do we compile this Java program? Java C sample.java. This particular step will compile the Java, and if I want to execute Java, the class name is sample. So we have configured our own virtual machine by using EC2. We have connected the EC2 instance from SSH prompt. Then we have configured Java virtual machine and the Java development kit, and we have written a simple Java program on this.